Yeah, we have to wait for the timer to actually go live.
Okay.
Got it.
Hey, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on the time you're watching this. I got some cool people with me once again. Got Chris. How you doing?
Doing great. I'm here to become a
Awesome.
god.
Yeah. I forgot the word. What's Theo? Theo? Yeah, that's the name.
Spend,
Theurgy?
No, anyhow.
become deified. No.
Yeah.
I'll remember by the end. But
Theoposis or something like that.
Theo, yeah, something like that. Yeah. Wonka Chunk.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, it's first time I have you like on the thing I'm hosting, so it's nice to
Yeah.
have you, man.
It's cool. Thanks.
And we got another regular by now, which is Dom.
Hello.
Yeah, and I'm Nicholas. So we have an interesting thing up ahead, a project. I like to call it a project because I think that's what it is, right?
Mhm.
So the main idea is that we're gonna play as the deities of a setting, but the setting is going to be created by the gods. So part of the session 0 is discussing how would that play out in a 4D way, the creation of the world, and like what do the gods even do, and I think we can start off talking about vibes and like
Sure.
what general vibes you guys got, like what ideas, what scenarios popped in your heads.
Yeah, I got a million things in my mind in terms of this. One of those is, are we doing kind of like Mount Olympus Jerry Springer, or are we doing like the gods are like really weird, like being a god is really weird, so we have to like play weird characters? So that was kind of like the first axes of understanding that I was trying to think about, because I feel like it could be really interesting either way.
Yeah, I think yeah, exactly. I think a mix, because we still want to be role playable.
Yeah,
But I think you should like add some weirdness,
yeah.
It's like
to it.
the consistency within mythology is that like they're doing weird stuff, like they're doing things that are simultaneously inhuman but human, like for human reasons.
For very
Right.
like you can understand why
Mhm.
like Zeus would would become like a bird and seduce a lady.
Yeah.
It's just a weird, the way he does it is weird, but
I would. Right.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I could do that.
So, do you guys
Okay.
want to stick to more relatable history, or do you want to break away from that fantasy mythos and maybe do something more cosmic or astral or tech related, or kind of like a Rifts or Numenaria setting where life has already been lived, or do you guys want to really stick to something that's more relatable? What's easier to brainstorm? Because you know what I mean? Like you could have gods of technology where you have demons of technology. I mean, it really pushes the envelope in a different way. But if you want to stick to something more relatable, it's so much easier to build off of.
My personal preference for this game would be pretty classical, just because the innovation we're probably going to do is how the fuck do we do this in 4D, which is I think going to be the I'm very excited about that part. So that would be my preference, but Nicholas is kind of the adjudicator here.
No, I mean, like I said, this is a collaborative project, because you guys are the first in the session 0. You have much more say on what will happen afterwards. I did mention this on the description of this video /live that I kind of want to do kind of like a westmarches thing where we want to have episodic sessions where different people will play in. But because you guys are here, you are kind of the primordial, the titans, of this universe, in a sense that I want your input as well. On the matter of technology, I think I do lean more on the ancient vibe, though I think there could be some like what we would call technology, or I mentioned. I think I talked with Dom about this. Do you guys know that one game called Azura's Wrath?
Yep. I do not, unfortunately.
If you can, on the side, Google it. I don't remember what console it came for, but it's a take on I believe the Indian mythology, Hindu mythology, and it's a weird mix of technology and spiritualism. Aesthetically, it's very cool looking. It's like a blend, so we could lean a little bit into that. But I do think that Nicholas, as a nerd, I prefer more the fantasy side of things. Which does not mean that, because I kind of want to go through the ages of the setting. So maybe down the line, it could end up becoming more technological, more cyber fantasy.
Cool.
For sure.
Okay, so and to, again, I'm just blue skying and I'm going big on these ideas. Do you guys prefer to have a contested planet, individual pocket dimensions where we have our own laws and reality? Are we living planets? What's your take on this? I mean, we know it's classical. We're going to be beings of some sort, but is there more to us? Are we living pocket dimensions where we can sort of spill out followers? Do we have worshipers? Or do we create these worshipers? What's the concept?
I did write some, as far as mechanics go, I did write some stuff about that, but I want to hear your takes first.
Yeah, we had the discussion where, as a part of like primordial gods, and maybe even a bit of the other young gods or early gods, I should say, they would end up creating the peoples that would be represented down the line. So in the session 0, establishing kind of like what fundamentals that there are, whether or not the gods are to be viewed as planets, the gods are to be viewed as separate, like I said, dimensions. I think that as far as people are concerned, like humans, like the myth of man, I think that could be something that is, born out of the game itself. But yeah, considering what we are, that would be something to consider now.
Yeah. I'm trying to think about this in terms of like other things that I've seen that are similar, which perhaps is a little unfair, but I'm thinking about that in terms of that. So there was a game where basically you set up a map, a blank piece of paper, and then everyone has either kind of like points or something like that to like draw mountains and like create races and do stuff like that. So it would be the one I saw was very mechanical focused, and this green screen is giving me a lot of shit, but very mechanical. I'm becoming so evil. Very mechanically focused, but the concept of like, what if we found one of those online apps that was like drawing, and then we all had a small period where we're like doing like days 1 to 7 of Genesis, and we're like drawing stuff, just kind of like, okay, well, I reach the soil and make a figurine, and I place it. And this is, I shall call you elves. Like that could be how that plays out in a kind of like in a 4D way without having to do like the point system. The one I saw, I forgot. You guys know about RPG stuff. There's this game style where it's like a German name where
Braunstein.
Yeah, it was called a Godstein.
Yep.
And it was by Harmony Jr.
Yeah. That is Harmony. That is where I heard that exactly. So we could be inspired by that.
Well, I like that idea.
That's kind of what kicked me off, because when I heard that she done that, I'm like, man, it would be so awesome to role play like in a 4D environment, because 4D is perfect for that, right? Co-creation is right. You can literally create stuff. It's like, it'd be so cool, but how would you pull it off? And that idea has been on the back of my mind since ever. Then Uriah ended up rolling, because that suggestion on the last no prep challenge was mine, and seeing the guys play it, I'm like, man, okay, I have to get back to this idea, and I have to get more people involved.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so let's put a twist on it. Are we going to be competing for a contested land or planet, or are we going to be shared gods on a council? Like, how are we going to view this as we roleplay 4D?
Let me add a thing to stage here.
I think there would be that who we are, I think, would be case by case. So when we start rolling out, similar to a UNPC, we would establish it as when we get the kickoff. So once we have the base setting, quote unquote, like what we're fundamentally working with, and we start talking about the characters, then I think we can start shaping what the society of gods looks like, with us around it.
Exactly.
If we are the only 3 gods, or if Nicholas has like a handful, like 7 or 8 other gods that can maybe interfere with us or what have you.
Yeah. I also wanted to quickly throw out Godbound. I don't think that Godbound is really what we're going for, but I wanted to kind of highlight it. So Godbound is the Kevin Crawford Starts Without Number guy, his version of the God game. So in his version, there's like a very specific setting where like the old gods are dead, and then like people are becoming demigods by inheriting these runes of power. It's an OSR style game with kind of like you're a demigod and then you're fighting demigod opponents in a world, and you're trying to gather worshippers, and you go into, there's even kind of like the version of dungeons, which are like god realms, corrupted realms, blah blah blah. So that was one way of kind of like falling back on the old styles with a divine twist. And I'm getting the vibe that is not quite what you guys are going for, especially Nicholas. Where we kind of like parameterize. Oh, you're a god and you're fighting a level 2 Titan, right?
God Goblin.
Yeah. Go into the Titan cave and bring back the Promethean fire orb or whatever. Like,
to be fair, I think when we do the interspaced, like playing as the mortals or as the heroes, that'll be the vibe. The reason I shared that is just because I want to go down through the ages. I want to see it being done by the players, because
we're not necessarily playing through an adventure like a mortal would. We're playing through the myth. We're playing through the fundamental, we are establishing the rules of this world by playing the gods.
Okay.
So like how a myth involving Zeus or like a nymph, because a lot of the stories with the nymphs are there to kind of explain why like a certain creature exists or why you treat people a certain way. So I think that would be the goal of the god phase of the game, would be more that establishment, whereas mortals are the adventure. Exploring the repercussions of the gods.
So sorry, I'm going to jump in here real quick, because I get it. And I think in order to determine how we build this world is going to depend on the domains that we choose effectively. So do we have a list of domains?
We do. And I kind of separated through like how did I write?
The tiers.
Like the types of the tiers of primordials, like your titans, and then your greater, lesser, minor. And I try to, we can like talk and edit these. These are the ones that I, in the span of a week came up with.
Sure.
Be like creation, entropy, time. And the idea is that if you are the primordial of creation, time or space, you set the physics, the universal laws pertaining to that. So if you're the time god, you can determine that it is possible to any creature to go back in time. It's going to be chaos, but because that's your domain, you set the rules for that.
Yeah.
And the other gods, they have to abide by these rules as well. So if you're responsible for death, you decide how does death work. Do the gods die as well? Is it like an Egyptian thing where even the gods, they go to the afterlife? Like if you're the primordial of that, you set the rules for that.
Can I add one there? That would probably be both the strongest and the weakest. The god of dominion.
How does that work? That's meta. You have to explain to me.
Yeah, absolutely. So a god of dominion would basically determine who rules. So in the event that even a primordial exceeds or oversteps their bounds, and mechanically, I would say that there has to be a point. So if all gods are equal, whether the primordial, greater, at some point, the god of dominion would gain superiority in order to enact and put them back in their place.
Is this like an OW thing from Forgotten Realms or something like that? Is that what you're getting at?
Sort of, kind of, but not really. Yeah, it's something I've been kind of messing around with. I think so. Let's say gods of war and peace, as an example. So a god of war has to do war, but when they're in that war state, they get 80% increase on their attributes to succeed. You can't do it. But the god of peace, being an exact opposite, as long as they're going in, would be an equal at that point. But any other god trying to intervene between the two are just ordinary. They wouldn't be able to supersede those two domains, if that makes sense.
I don't know, because it's like they're all gods.
I think it could work.
Like they could like it also.
I think it could work just because it's another consideration to the list. We might not pick it, but I think because I'm trying to think back to the equivalent in like Greek mythology, and that was the Fates. The Fates are the ones who appointed, allegedly, are the ones who appointed who gets the underworld, who gets the seas, who gets heaven, and that was the Fates. And we could say it's the god of fate that does that, but having a god of dominion is an alternative to that.
Another thing too, like if you were to go into death, the dead realm, Zeus, Hades. Hades is all powerful in his realm. There's no reason why another god should be superior in that moment. Same thing with Zeus. When you're on Mount Olympus on his turf, Zeus is the god. You're not going to beat him there. But if you were to meet on Earth, they're equals. Now, there's no reason that one should be superior because they're both in contention of either the birth of life or the death or whatever it is they're doing. You know what I mean? There should be a point where God is absolutely powerful. We can't dispute it.
I think that I don't know if I agree for narrative reasons. Like that can be kind of boring, right? It's like okay, I'm in my house, so
you're the boss.
Like, right? But it's like we do want some sort of idea of conflict. Of like people coming to Olympus and shooting lightning beams at each other, right? If that's assuming that we want to do some sort of like Dragon Ball Z-esque combat. I don't know if you guys are actually into that. I thought that was going to be a big part of this, actually.
Maybe for the
But anyway, can I let me ask a kind of a different kind of a meta question.
Sure.
So if I'm understanding the format of what we're doing here, this isn't kind of like we're doing a big multi-step campaign about being a god. You're imagining this more of kind of like we're going to do Genesis and we're going to do world building in 4D, in roleplay, in universe. And then we have this world that we can tell other stories with mortals in it. Is that is that what you conceive of it? And maybe later we have kind of like a different god. Here's the gods of men and they're fighting, and we have to tell another god story, but then we also tell mortal stories as well. Is that kind of what you see this project working as?
Yes, and it is episodic, so you can. I think you should come back as your god and have like an episodic thing with him where you do something or something happens because other players are doing stuff and mortals are doing stuff, so now it's something you gotta attend to, and it could even be, we could even have many one-on-one sessions, as just your god.
Got it. So
that's a good question. I had the same one.
So you're you would prefer that generally a player is cemented in the god or even the mortal that they play. So if we're playing a mortal game, you're playing as that hero you've been playing. This is just another story with him involved. If you play that god, you're playing that god again. Is that what you want to enforce down the line?
Oh, okay, yeah. You're saying okay, got it. I see what your question is, Tom. I understand.
Maybe. I think it's fine if you want to, like, you know what, I'm gonna create this one guy. I don't think if I will return to him, like if he lives, maybe not. You know, I would be fine with you having like your gallery of characters.
Are we okay with other people playing our characters?
Yeah.
I think not. I think this is a big no.
Right.
That'd be sick.
But I mean, I think that's okay if like certain gods are absent a lot.
Yeah.
Right. That's what's happening in the cosmology. Sure.
Mm-hmm. Could explain the weird change of character, you know, in the myth.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that's kind of the reason I wanted to introduce the god of dominion. So if somebody steps out of line, then Nicholas could go in and say, actually, the god of dominion comes in and says, that's not within your realm of activity. You better check yourself.
Oh, good you mentioned that. Just real quick, because I did write down, because I think that goes into mechanics and how things should be done. And I did write a few things down on the matter of like how much can you do as a god. So the idea is that you're not, if it's within your domain, you don't need to roll. You just say and it just happens. Unless it's directly opposed to another god, then even though you have like this stupid advantage over him, like he can still try to defend himself or try to counteract what you're doing. And that's when you have like an actual like there is a chance for you to fail. It's there's this one myth of Thanatos, the god of death, trying to claim a soul, and Hercules just wrestles him, and he lost that soul. You know, Thanatos lost to a brawl to Hercules, and he's the god of death. You know, but that happened. So the dice will allow a chance, like that 10%, that 5% chance that you could lose, but the odds are generally in your favor.
Yeah.
And even then, like, you have your realm, right? I did write some stuff about realms here. I'm going to leave it here for now, but the idea is that you do have your realm, and generally speaking, like that place bends to your will.
That's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah, it bends. And there's kind of a tier where a greater god cannot just barge into another one. Like that would be a whole quest in itself to like storm Olympus, you know. But you can barge into a deity on a rank below. You can just walk in, you know, because you're like above them, kind of deal. So that's mechanically speaking. Well, this one can change. The dice one, I'm a bit more resistant on leaving that, because I do think that gods fighting is just a cool thing to roleplay, you know.
I mean,
I
on the
guess
realms, we can work that, because I feel like that's part of how the universe works, and like the god of dominion or the god of space can determine, you know.
Yeah,
there are no extra dimensions. It's just one dimension. You are occupying like east, north, up and down, you know. If you're the god of space, you can determine how does that work.
Yeah, that's the clarity I was looking for. I guess going from greater to primordial, or even going down, what's the advantage or disadvantage for somebody? Like a minor going into a primordial, do they even have a chance? Is it like a 10% chance on the roll? Like how are we going to determine that?
Because I understand your question.
So, okay, let's say a lesser god or demon decides to walk into the god of death's realm. That's like 2 tiers below. Are they going to get a bonus of +2? Is it going to be 20%?
Like a greater god get into a domain of a lesser one?
Yeah, or vice versa. I mean, what's the advantage or disadvantage in this case?
I think, again, that says, how did you set your realm? Like, did you put like a giant dog with 3 heads to protect, you know, your realm?
In that event, would it be up to the god whose dominion that is to 40 the ever living shit out of it? Before Chris, thanks Skeleton, there is a 3-headed dog.
Yeah,
that kind of
my Cerberus bites you. This may seem kind of fussy, but I think the idea that these gods have like a metaphysical realm that they are have total control over, regardless of rank, like that makes like metaphysical sense, but we want it to also be dramatic. So I don't really like the hard rules on like if Zeus is in Mount Olympus, nobody can do anything to him, like because you want it so, you know, Hades goes and confronts his brother or whatever the hell. Like I think that we can say that I like kind of like the soft 4D thing that Dom is saying rather than this kind of like ranking rule, which is like, okay, yeah, absolutely. If Zeus is on Mount Olympus, he has a lot of in fiction, in universe advantages. I don't like kind of like the metaphysical mechanic. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm thinking right now, which is basically if we alternatively, we could say, you know, your realm is like a little tiny, it's like a private office. You can't do anything from there. So if you want to go out and make changes to the world, you need to be walking around the world. You could say that, but even that, like, he's hiding away in his, you know, impenetrable diamond prison.
I see. So like
I agree.
If you have an underworld, then, you know, I don't know the level that Hades is in, but if there are levels, but you would have the underworld, but then you'd have Hades' spot. Like, he has dominion over the entire underworld, but then there's this little nugget where it's like, you're not coming in there. This is basically this is him. Like,
almost like we could say that. I'm just thinking of kind of like the very first thing we do is like, I'm the god of wrecking shit, and I wreck your river, Dom. Yeah. And then you're like, oh, well, I'm furious about this. I'm going to go, you know, to the river. I'm going to go underwater to go talk to you. Well, sorry, I live underwater, so I don't want to talk to you. So I send a wave, and it sends you away. It's like it would be. It sort of makes sense metaphysically, like I said, but it really impinges on if we want to do drama and confrontations and fights and stuff. So
I think that prompts the adventure, though. That would be
right.
That would be the prompt of you finding the treasure or going to a higher god, getting something, going to my dad and getting something that'll break through my water shield.
Exactly.
Sure.
Or even like, you know what? I'm going to your temple right now. I'm gonna destroy that. I'm gonna keep wrecking your stuff until you come face me. You know,
that's exactly right. Because like,
I think that's great.
Like that.
I think that's great. If it's kind of like, you know, soft, like we can communicate. My watchdog sniffs out all intruders, and the gates bar. But if you've got, you know, the dog bone, whatever, something like that.
I also like the idea that if there's a vacant dominion, it's kind of like there's nobody ruling over that. You can kind of, you know, squirm your way out, you know. So like, if you don't want to have a Hermes who has like diplomatic immunity, you know. It's like you have to find different ways until a god is born or is made or.
Okay.
Without a god of travel, then all the gods are just teleporting around, you know, messing with each other. It's like, okay,
exactly,
we can't have this.
Okay.
So now I'm thinking consequences. If you're wrecking, and that's a great example, wrecking temples until the other one comes out to chat. What is the consequence that would make him come out? I mean, losing a bunch of automaton beings that worship you. Mm-hmm. Does that have an effect on you as a god, power-wise? Does it make you a lesser? Does it make you a minor? Does it?
That's something. Now that's the meta talk part of the session zero that I want to talk with. So how, like, I personally don't like the idea that gods are dependent on worship, because that makes them like an animal to be fed in a way. Kind of, in my view, like that's not so fantastic.
It's kind of like from what I've seen, it's like Terry Pratchett, Neil Gaiman. That's like a big thing. Like, worshiper equals power, which I get it from like a postmodern point of view. I see the correlation, but it doesn't feel very good in the moment, or like in the fantasy in my head.
But I do like the idea that you get something out of, because I think that's another thing. Like,
look at the sacrifices.
When you play mortals, like it's very easy to understand what is a goal like, because you are a mortal, like you want to achieve things in life. But when you're a god, what is your end game?
Yeah.
So I think that will come to like comes from a deep place of role play of I want to explore this character, and I have my goals as this character. I don't know. We could have something mechanically about that. I did write something about like hosts, like the souls you have to control, mechanically speaking. Like, can I just keep summoning like the Hydra, the Cyclops, So to kind of balance that down a bit, I kind of have some resources that maybe play into that, But like I said, the sacrifices, maybe you get something out of that, or it's just strokes your ego, or it's your creation. You don't want it to be destroyed.
I like the idea of the worshippers giving you power to a certain point in the context of like having it be very mythic, in that the fact that you would even touch anyone in one of my temples, I am offended, and that's represented by the diminishing of the resource die, even though like realistically, quote unquote, they'd have countless other followers. But it's the insult in the moment that is making me weaker within the context, the enclosed space of the myth. Like,
you gotta realize. Place a level of agency to the session. Your last level should be no restraints. I don't think I understand, man. Anything less makes you aware of the wall you can pass.
I'm very torn on this question of should we have mechanics for worship. So I'm in one way, like I think most of us come from the OSR a little bit, and like one idea is like you have stuff like XP, gold for XP, makes you go get gold, right? It motivates your character to go do that, and it motivates you as a player, I should say, to make your character go do that. So, do we need that for this purposes, or can we just kind of like
for Genesis? We might,
right? Like, do we have?
I mean, I don't know what the alternative is, because if we're going through the ages, we want to build a world. We build the world with followers, plants, animals, so on and so forth. So we need the resource dice. There is no alternative. Really.
What I was thinking of is that
like we could freestyle it. Like,
yeah,
I think if we all kind of like have a social contract of like, hey, we're doing Genesis, and so make a god that wants to make things and preserve them. Yeah, so it's like if we have the social contract, like it's like a character requirement for our PC.
Two things about that real quick. So the resource die I made when I made that for the things, I was thinking more of like a combat situation,
right?
Yeah,
you know. But I think like outside of combat, you kind of have a leeway to just kind of sculpt things into reality. On the matter of creation, I also think this like whoever is the primordial of creation, you get to decide like who can create and how. I think that's also an interesting thing. So like maybe in this universe, the god of creation has determined that the only way to create things is if you give a piece of yourself. Then mechanically we will make so like your stats go low whenever you create, or maybe the only rule for creation is if you take a life for another one. So, you know, I would like to see that be implemented as well. And I don't know how much you can do that in a session without breaking character. But I mean,
we could. I feel like we can do. I can pretend like I'm in the Cimmerillion or something like that. I think I could kind of do that. But the question is like, are we? If the world is all fucked up at the end, is that okay?
Yep, 100%.
Okay, great.
I think like by the end it will be like Dark Souls, you know.
Okay, that's cool. Because if we have kind of like this big thing, like, guys, we need to make the perfect setting for Nicholas, like that could impede a lot of a lot of role play. But
Yeah,
if we just
dice
like
rolls, they're
hey,
random.
let's do it. Okay, cool.
I mean, we are using dice to a certain degree, so and I think that's part of the cool thing. How it will turn out,
Mm-hmm.
especially when we start having like more gods interacting and messing with stuff and breaking the rules, because that will happen either accidentally or purposefully.
Gotcha.
Absolutely, especially when we actually establish what these gods are, because you mentioned to me, like, just because you're the god of time doesn't mean you're the god of time. You could be the god of seconds, or there's something weird, like a denomination of the concept of time.
Yeah. What did I write down as? Aspect. Yeah, so you can be just the god of the past,
Yeah, there you go. That's a better example.
So you can be twins, and like you kind of share a domain with another god to a certain extent.
It's like, oh, I want to play time, or rather, I want to play Dominion. Oh, Wonka Chunk wants to also play Dominion. Okay, so what aspect of Dominion are we twinning? That kind of thing. That could be cool.
No, Dominion, I actually put it out there for Nick, just in case he has to bring people back. Keep us humble, because we're going to have big heads.
I just mean, in that example, we could like twin.
Yeah, I get it. I'm just teasing at this point.
Nicholas apparently really wants Void, though.
Yeah, I got
double Void.
You put Void 8, Void 8. I actually, okay. It sounds like we're going to all start with primordial gods.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, we're getting.
Yeah.
I have some quibbles with this little table here. I feel that entropy, chaos, and void, like all three of those
things.
They're all. I perhaps there's some like very good distinctions, but the same thing with order and fate. Well, fate and order are pretty close, but they're a little bit different. But entropy, chaos, and void are a little
samey.
I agree on entropy and chaos, but I don't think void. Maybe void and entropy, yes, but I don't know if chaos and void are necessarily.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like going back to what Dom was talking about, Glorantha. Like the chaos was the void around the world, right, or whatever. Like that's my understanding. So it may be the same in the cosmology, or like the Sumerian. Like I think a lot of the Sumerians are like the world was chaos, and then they created this. Yeah, the world was void, and then we created this. Like there's a lot of. I'm not like saying that we need to reject these, but there is a lot of kind of overlap.
Yeah, and especially we have fate and primordial as well as a greater, so I'm not too sure what the distinction there would be.
Yeah.
I interpreted it as like the fates being greater and like something bigger than them that has a similar. I couldn't think of a god, but I thought that's what you were going with.
Go ahead.
I want to go get a D8 or a D9 now.
I mean, okay. I do like the idea of maybe kind of rolling guys and then whatever as in session you decide. It's kind of like not really role playing, but you get to make some decisions. What do you think of that?
Sure.
Say again. I didn't understand.
Let's say you roll a primordial here at Dominion, and you get to decide on a meta level how we're gonna deal with dimensions, or there are no dimensions if you get space. You kind of become the GM for that one aspect of the setting. Because for example, in the myths, usually you have a creation myth, but there's already stuff before the creation myth, and that thing you get to decide now what was there before. Because I don't think we're gonna play the before times. We're gonna play like Age of Creation.
Yeah. Do we want to jump in with and then there was light? You know what I mean? Like, do we want to go that far?
Like,
I think it's like the world is just done. So like, I think it's like
we
right
could,
there.
I mean, we could 4D Genesis. That would be pretty fucking challenging, but I think that would be fucking cool.
It would be cool. I love to.
I take the clay, and the way I walk, you just describe it in 4D, so you're in first person.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's
Here's my
like
suggestion.
creating oceans and shit.
How about at the end of whatever we're discussing right now, we
Sure.
take like 20 minutes to do a mini in-character 4D session, and you play out what we discussed, though we are willing to let things naturally change because of the interaction of the gods.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is kind of project that we need to have like a session 0.1, 0.2, just to realign things, because
I didn't follow that. Sorry.
I think we can do that. You go ahead and for Chris, go ahead and reiterate.
So we're doing session 0 right now, right? We're gonna set down some ground rules, how we're gonna be players in a way. But at the end of this live, we're gonna reserve 20 to 30 minutes to play as the Primordials, to actually play the Genesis thing. You get to be all far away as you want, but we're open for the nature of role-playing games of being unpredictable to happen, and whatever happens at the end all right, we had agreed that it was going to be made from clay, but the Indom's god is like, we should use the beast's bones, and now it changed. Fine, but we stick with that because whatever happens in roleplay is set in stone kind of deal. And then as sessions go, we do like session 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, just to realign things as needed.
I don't necessarily think that we even need to realign like that. I think that doing the 20-minute session, just to do Genesis, all of us kind of being a little detached, because it's like all of us making heaven, making the earth, making time, establishing time, narrating that creation, maybe calling back a little bit to something that somebody else said, but ultimately not fighting over it. It's like the raw primordial, like coming together and shaping. And then after things have been shaped, that's the first session. So we come into it as like the embodiment, the personification of these gods. Now we start bickering. Now that's session 1. We we have that conflict of the gods. Like, I saw what you did back there. You know what I mean? Like, why did you do that with time? That would be like the session 1 kind of thing.
Gotcha. So we're still primordials. We're still in character. But like session 0 is a little bit more dreamlike, and we're not emphasizing conflict or stuff like that. It's basically
for now. The way I thought of breaking it down, like for example, Chris, because you took initiative of saying you want a D8.
Yeah.
Like roll a D8.
All right, here we go. What am I gonna get? I got an 8. Void.
It will be a D10. It would be a D10, I guess, because we got Dominion. But so Void. I would even say, because you're 3, maybe you guys can have 2 domains if you want.
Sure.
Void. Okay. I guess I'll roll again. 1. What? Wow! I really stitched things up.
You're beginning this opportunity.
I agree with Moss. Yeah. I'm right there with you.
So what did you get? Let me write that down.
I got void and creation.
Hell yeah!
That's awesome. That's awesome.
There you go.
Okay.
So Chris, what I thought of is still out of character. You get to set some ground rules onto how creation and void works in this universe, and the other gods, they have to abide by these rules, because you are the Titan, you are the very fiber of creation and void, so to speak. So this is like your GM moment,
Okay.
I was thinking that like we would do this. We would we would decide who the gods are, these primordials are, all of us kind of getting in line, and then we would jump into a session, quote unquote, that 20-minute session. Or do you want to do this one by one?
Actually, let's. I think your idea, yeah, and then. Okay.
So.
I mean, whoever wants to.
I have an 8.
Okay, just let's agree on something. If you get like the same thing, are you sharing? Do you break apart? Like we break, void destruction / void. I don't know.
I think it's all good. However we want to do that. I do think
in
if we want
character.
to do a quote unquote like low conflict session 0, we might want to
by the way,
split the portfolios. But
there's this thing with the aspects. Well, I guess minorities have no aspect. The greater ones have to, because you're already like
you're the raw thing.
encompassing too much. Yeah, so there's no need to break it down. You are the very embodiment.
Yeah.
No pressure though. Okay, so do you want to roll, Dom? So would be a D8, I guess. Still, are we doing Dominion? I think would be fine, but how do you settle that on a roll a D10, and if you get a 10, you just roll again, okay?
I think Wonka Chunk's idea is that you are Dominion, Nicholas, and you're kind of like the meta guy that will police us if we need.
Well, I don't know about that.
I wanted to be kind of as a GM. I believe
that is Wonka Chunk's idea.
Okay. Cool. I didn't realize.
I wanted to be a bit distanced from. That's another part of this project. Like as a GM, I want to be whatever is not you, but I would love you so much to in character for you guys to kind of police yourselves in a way.
Mm-hmm. We will, but this is your opportunity to also steer the project, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I am doing that right now as I say that.
Yeah. No, I know. But let's say something you feel breaks meta or completely is outside the realm. Like I rolled chaos and void, so I could, let's say Dom says I'm going to create a bird, and I walk in, but your bird is now a dragon. You know, that could be overstepping to some degree. I'm chaos. That's not really creation. I don't really get to dictate. But as a chaotic god, primordial, I might want that to happen, right?
To me, chaos is also a little bit of change in a way. But that's the thing. I would like you in character to, maybe Chris Gods to be step up and like, what are you doing, brother? Like, so you kind of. It's kind of maybe a bit of improv in a way. But
right. I think we should do that in session 1, but in session 0 we should be basically making a bunch of stuff.
I think it could be cool doing I think some interactions in character, quote unquote, would be cool. Just
during
not
the prologue,
contesting.
right?
No competing. Just having the conversation because we're like ignorant. We're literally just showed up and we're just manifesting. So it's like, why'd you do that? And then you justify it, and it's just like, I'll remember that kind of thing. And then you adopt that grudge, or you curse them or something. With Chris grabbing void and creation, I think that suddenly reintroduces the difference of chaos, because that now we're introducing the concept that chaos is no longer a creative force because there's creation right there, and it's somehow not a force of entropy. It's not nothingness anymore. It becomes change.
Hey Wonka, you get the philosophical one.
That's okay.
With the control of your character. Be responsible with the control, yeah.
Do we want overlapping portfolios or do we want separate portfolios? I know perhaps I'm getting a little bit. All this power is going to my head, but I want separate portfolios.
Okay.
You could.
I'll tell you right now.
I'll let you two decide. Like, how do you feel, Wonka?
Because everything that Chris creates, I'm gonna mess up in some way, shape, or form because I can. That's why I think separate's important, but it's also fun. We are now creating something random in this case. Like, it goes to that Seinfeld thing. You think it's gonna be serious, but all of a sudden, it's not what I wanted, not what I expected. Right?
To be fair. Myths in general, they have a very childlike whimsy to them. Like sometimes it's like comedic in a way.
Yeah.
The god's antics. So
Loki getting knocked up by a horse because he thought it'd be a funny gag. Like,
So I'll be fine if comedy happens. It's part of life.
Yeah.
But yeah, how do you deal then? How do you wanna like literally talk in character at the prologue at the end of this?
I think we should do it in character because void is empty nothingness. He's going to create something. I'm going to react or do something in response to that. I'm not going to stop him, but I'm going to change what he wants. So it's kind of like Seinfeld ordering pizza and somebody showing up with popsicles.
Okay, well, are we talking about void? Is that what the topic of what you're talking about, Wonka Chunk?
Yeah, void being, well, to simplify it, space. So it's a big nothing, but and then maybe you'll create stars, and I'll say yes, but with the stars come fire or the
Right.
sun.
Well, I'm also void.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just
So we're gonna walk the same line, but we're also going to whatever you create, I may change, but I'll change everybody in some way, shape, or form.
Are you talking about chaos or void though? I'm getting mixed up.
So I am both. I'm void and chaos. You're
Okay.
void and creation. So in which case we both walk within the same bigger picture, but there's going to be change. No matter what you create, I'm going to be there to incite negativity, positivity, something different.
Cool.
The Lords of the Dice have told me space.
Space. You get to do the funny beats as well. Space and
dealing with both of you fuckers in my space.
Don't worry, cousin.
We'll do 2.
Oh, let me go back here.
Let me see time.
Okay.
Wow.
Space and time.
Oh, good.
Everybody's walking on this. Nobody's
no
just flying.
Okay, now we have to sort of decide what's the difference between void and space, because in my mind it's one and the same. I mean, space is a little more defined with gravity.
Space is the distance.
3-dimensional, yeah.
Whereas void is nothing.
Okay. So we're gonna go distance with that one.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes sense. Distance and time.
No pressure.
That's actually good. That's a lot of like basic universal rules to be settled on. I think that will ease the next sessions as we do greater gods and whatever with these covered. I was a bit worried with if we don't get time, people are gonna be doing time shenanigans, and we know those are complicated to play out, right?
I guess as a chaos primordial, I need to ask you guys: are you okay with how much interference would you guys be okay with? Is there
do it all?
Do it all? Okay, and I'll figure out a way to determine it as well.
So, do we have roles? Because let's not focus on main roles, but due to the nature of what we have here, I think conflict will arise, and we would need dice.
For this 20 for the intro, I don't think so. I think right now we should be quote unquote amicable or like begrudgingly accepting the way things are being established because we're all ignorant. We're baby
and on
gods.
session 1, we play exactly 1 minute after the prologue, and then you can
we get into the arguments. That's just my idea. I don't know if we want to bring out the dice. Get in there.
No, it's fine. I think we can't fight over nothing. Right now, we're trying to establish something.
Absolutely.
All right, let's take a look here. I guess we're gonna need a copy of that document at some point. Don't
Oh yeah, I'm gonna share with you guys. So, do you even want to bother with the character sheet, or I do want to talk about like gods and the names and the symbols, like maybe what do you look like, and I think I go balls to the wall, like what do you look like? If you want to be humanoid, if you want to be more abstract, go ahead, because what do you set up now will determine a lot of how things will go down the line, especially with the thing with the family trees. Like, because the other gods will be related to you in a way, so they will borrow a lot of your symbols and things.
All right.
Think of it like an MMO, in a way.
I'm coming up with a lot of ideas of all the stuff I'm going to create, guys.
Even the naming conventions that you said now, you have repercussions for this campaign. What were some things you guys are thinking? Tell me.
I am a dragon.
Oh.
Wow.
I am 100% physical. I am not abstract in any way.
Yep.
Mhm.
So, yeah, that's the very first thing I know. And I don't know if we should do the rest of the session, but I'm ideating, but I definitely want to be a dragon god of creation.
Cool. You guys, you're free to talk. This is your character.
Yeah. I'm definitely going with an alien-looking demon type creature because I'm chaos. It just makes sense. I will probably have a symbol, a serpent symbol. I think something I can send out or lash out. Something, because if there's going to be change, I want it to feel traumatic. I want, that's where my head is at.
I will. I mean, you draw as well, so you can help me. I think it would be cool to have illustrations for these primordials when we do session 1.
Yeah, I've already started sketching as we're talking.
Yeah.
My god is depicted commonly as a portal. So a doorway, a window, a hole. Just the word portal is what my god is depicted as.
Cool.
Passage. Yes. And okay, I'll let you describe your. I'll say materialization. However you want. If you already have an idea of it, because going into mechanics a bit, I did send you guys the character sheet on the Discord, because we are using impact frame. Chris, you've played this before. The way I wrote it down here, as far as conflicts come, and again, because of your domains, I want to let you kind of have a lot of say during the session 0. Is that, where did I write down? On the stats here. So like you do have your HPs, your body, your mind, and your spirit, and basically body is your physical integrity, mind is your mental stability, and then spirit is your real life force in a way. So if you are defeated through body, like you may be bloodied, you may be torn to pieces, but you're not really dead until only if another god starts attacking your spirit. Then it's like actual threatening your existence. So this is, for the game part when conflict happens, because I don't think the side within the gods will be that common as much as just giving you a good beating so you learn your lesson kind of deal, and another thing is who's responsible for death in a way? Chaos and you guys?
Yeah. None of us.
I don't
None of you really, yeah. So like what happens when a god dies? Like if the sun god dies, does the sun go dark?
That would be so like Wonka was discussing, you being Dominion, you being death in this session would be really important, because I'm time, they're chaos and creation. We're just doing our thing. Like we don't care. Like none of our things are dying. Like
is this my GM PC?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not against this idea, but I do also want to kind of pitch like we don't have to have all the domains, right? We can say that death is part of chaos, or like death is an aspect of entropy or whatever. Like you could do that. I'm not against the idea of just like divvying up the portfolios to NPCs or other things, but I do want to kind of pitch that idea as well, which is basically, do we as primordials maybe we contain some other stuff. I don't know.
Another thing, Chris, this is your domain. I want you to decide how do new gods, at least how how does it work in this universe. I think this is well within your domain, you know.
Everything comes from my flesh.
You died session 1.
Yeah.
Well, no, so
let me get some of that.
I'm really big.
I'm really big.
Yeah.
I'm huge.
Big nothing, Void.
I
Infinite, in fact.
So I am thinking about that. The fundamental way that creation works is there is only one thing, which is my body, and then that is subdivided into additional entities that then is the world and the other gods and stuff like that. So I'm much small. A lot of my flesh is gone.
Oh.
So
Like a zombie dragon. You know?
No, yeah, kind of like, or like I just have like a lot of wounds, or like half my side is gone and all this stuff. So like the idea is, I think maybe it was Dom that mentioned the idea of like a fundamental aspect of this is flesh sacrifice, and that like powers a lot of the world. So that's how I'm thinking kind of like creation and like sub-creation works, is that we were talking about our holy symbols, or like our symbolic representations. I'm imagining
like, are you even worshipped? Are you even worshipped as much as the greater gods, you know?
I don't know if it really makes sense for me to be worshipped. I'm also thinking a little bit, I'm just getting meta here. I'm thinking a lot about the Silmarillion as we're talking about this. And like one aspect of that is that kind of like, you know, creation isn't really a balanced thing. It's not a kind of like a neat subdivision of 8 pieces of pie, and then each person is ambitious. It could be that there's a lot of stuff that I don't think that the dragon god would be worshipped like going forward, because there isn't really any point,
the
right?
worship of chaos and creation is literally the existence. You existing is worship of the creation god. Like you,
right?
Yeah.
Like I'm okay with I'm okay with like not being like the. Yeah, that's just the stuff that's going through my head, which is basically like, if everything is coming from my flesh, I would say, okay, actually, big thing. My symbol is a black obsidian bowl of blood.
Ooh.
Or you know, some other, maybe there's like another volcanic stone that's better, a dark volcanic stone.
Not really.
We can work that out later. We can workshop the name.
yeah, we can workshop it later. So
I was thinking as well, because I want this to have like to be episodic, and players to join in. So let's say like 3 players who are greater gods. They're like, you know what? We're gonna kill the dragon so we can build something greater, and then that will be an episode. We're gonna schedule that session, gonna play that out to see how it works, and that could be very well the end of the universe, you know. But
sure, well,
that'll be a cool thing. Kind of have players scheduling and meeting.
Yeah, I was thinking about like, we are gonna have a world with water and trees and things at the end of this.
Maybe
at the end of this session 0, right? Or no, maybe not. Maybe we're gonna leave that for another time. Okay, sure.
I think the idea is the pre-gaming in my head is going to give ample room for that.
Right. On the matter, well, and then space and time. Do you want to leave that for the prologue?
I have an idea for it. If you trust me.
I trust you guys. Again, I'm very eager to break. Maybe that sounds too pretentious. To break new ground and see how things work, you know.
I think one thing too, everyone's going to perceive their domain in their own way.
Yeah.
That's going to be something that we'll have to just understand. Death is different for every culture. Death is different for every person. how they interpret it, for example. So I think we have to be pretty open to that creatively as well.
Mm-hmm. Are you guys thinking names? Are you thinking like themes?
So as far as like physical manifestation, if my god were to manifest, he's gonna manifest as like a cobblestone portal. Like he's just gates. Like he is the distance between things and between time. I am distance. I don't know what god name it'll be though.
Okay.
Kamu.
Because that's Amu. That's another thing I'm eager is like because we're kind of developing a culture as well at the same time.
Put a K in front of that.
K. Kamu. Yeah, with a K.
Okay. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, the culture part's the part that's.
Mythology is culture, right? So
This is gonna be a really fucked up world. Like the big gods are a dragon and a demon.
Exactly. But I love it already. There's already like a lot of potential there. That's another thing. Like, will you retire the primordials, or are they very much active? Because even though they are like the first ones, mechanically speaking, a greater god could still face up and like kind of almost stand toe to toe.
Yeah.
And so have that in mind. You know that the greater gods are big dogs too, or will be big dogs.
I don't want to spoil the session, but Dom, it sounds like you've got some non-Euclidean stuff that you want to do. Is that what you're hinting at?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay.
I'm not trying to get too Lovecrafty.
Okay.
Another thing, there's like realities, like the multiverse, because it kind of verges into Dom's domain and creation, I would say.
Multiverse?
Like we have an established realm for each of us? Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't know. I mean, like, how does everything work? Could you open a portal to just Earth, our Earth, you know? I think it's too goofy, it's too gonzo. I would not like
that. Listen, Kamu's not thinking about that shit.
I know Wonka brought up rifts earlier, but that's
Kamu's gonna create something, and he's not gonna worry about what's going on outside the universe.
What about you, Chonka?
I think the name I'm going to go with is Sepis. Sepis.
Hell yeah.
Just hints, it just hints at disease, change, mutation, corruption.
It'll be so cool to have like new words based on the names of the gods, you know, because that's the concept itself. Like Sepismophosis, you know, it's just dying. Yeah, that'll be a cool. I think culture will be born here, so that will be cool.
I'm struggling.
And I think also it's because medicine has the two serpents around the staff. It just kind of makes sense that maybe that's the half a serpent staff would be the symbol, whereas the other, you have the sickness, and the other serpent would represent the medicine. If somebody plays a god of medicine and healing later.
I see. So wait, half serpent staff.
Yeah. So you know what I'm talking about.
The caduceus, right?
Yeah.
Well, the one he's thinking about, it's like the caduceus. There's two snake staffs. The caduceus is Hermes. There's another one that's a single snake.
Oh, okay. It's also cool that you guys share a reptilian motif, you know.
Absolutely. So I'm overthinking it, and I know I am, because the god of time and portals should be simple, because that's a simple concept, right? It's not complicated.
That's ground rule.
It's observable, right? I can see the distance between me and something else. I know of time, right? So
it hints at speed.
What was that?
It also hints at speed.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go with Nier, but the German and the video game NIER.
Mhm.
Not German. It's French. It just means what does it mean? Denial. It's denial. So like people deny time. They don't like aging. They don't like that you're far from something.
You don't like going upstairs. Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool. So another thing on the matter of realms, on this prologue, I would like you guys to go through that and do you on the age of creation. Like, is the world just done, or do you want to role play the world? Like, I think that would be a neat part, right?
I definitely want to make the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to jump in. I think because he's creating it, he's going to do it, but we kind of move in and claim our domain out of what he makes. That makes sense.
I have an idea for kind of causing the rivalry between the two of you. And that would rely on me kind of setting the stage. And it's probably good that I say this and not save it. I kind of like the idea of like the primordial ball that's just like an amassment of meat. That's just like you said, there's just this ever-changing amassment of meat. But then I identify it as like the two of you hybridized in this amalgam, and then I see the fine line between where you differ, and then I cut it. And then that's where the two of you kind of string off into your own consciousnesses.
All right. So you're claiming day one of Genesis.
Hey, that's why I pitched it.
Sure.
Because that's the very base.
I do think it makes sense that you would have day one. Because you need space. Yeah, space and time. And then we'll take day two, the two of us.
Yeah.
And then go from there.
And be as flowery, as poetic, be as cliche, be campy if you have to. Like I said, balls to the wall, go crazy. I'll be very much in the background for most of it. I might interject here or there, and that's just that. Let it be very freeform, no turn order necessarily. If I notice that there's some silence, I'll interject and kind of make the consequences happen a bit. And if I feel that we can hold it there, I'll say, we can kind of finish it here. Do you think there's anything else you would like to? So we're not doing dice. This is like prologue. So conflict will begin in session 1 properly, when you have a character sheet and have the mechanics. And it doesn't mean you have to, but we have full leeway. Would that be it? Is that correct? Okay. And remember, so the other things here in the session 0, like what is the land masses and stuff like that, we'll do that during the prologue, the actual play. Sure. Anything else we should touch on?
But I think we're related then.
Yeah, sounds like it.
It would also be cool to, like, during the mortal session, if you play like a scholar character, you are interpreting the myth and kind of setting down, like, yeah, they are twins, like, because you are Homer, you are Hesiod, your definition of the thing might be what the mortals believe now, because you interpret them as such.
It would be so cool, but so masturbatory to, like, personify and rewrite the myth of your own god. Like, I just can't get enough of this guy.
Yeah.
Set the story straight.
Yeah.
You roleplay both the Romans and the Greek. You know what? I'm enjoying both versions there. All right. Okay, then. I'll close this. Anything else? I think we should have our prologue. I do want to have some background music for me, some cosmic sounds. Anything?
No.
I'm not a big fan of background music, but you can do.
No, this is just for me. I'm not gonna put it for everybody.
do
This is for me.
Okay, gotcha.
To get me in the mood. And if you want to, and people at home, if you want to, you can open a second tab right now and type something like Cosmic Ambience and get one that has a cool thumbnail. Yeah, I got a good one. I'll drop down in the comments here.
There you go.
If anyone
I shall
wants
indulge.
to vibe with it. I'll have my notepad here so I can take notes as we do the thing. So Camus, Sepis, and Nir. Is that the pronunciation?
Yes, that's correct for me.
Yes.
You want to change your name now? Let me change my name here as well, so we can.
We do it.
That'll be easy when I go back on a live and do the timestamps, so I can. I don't even know if I deserve it. What am I? I'm still
Everything
the
else.
narrator. That'll be okay. All right. You have headlines, and you can add in if you want. You can like Chris did. Then just give me okay, and we can start.
A lot of pressure, guys. We're making a whole universe here. I'm ready.
Yeah.
All right. No.
So because we agreed, you would take day one.
Yep. We'll kick her off.
There is time and space.
I am near, and everything was near. Near was a ball. Near observed the ball. For aeons, the ball moved. It writhed, grew heads, consumed itself. Near looked at the ball that was near and saw the heads, twins, and yet horrible reflections. Near tired of their endless, quick wars, and Near began slowly separating the ball, finding the seams of what was being manifest and what would eat and mutate the manifestations. Over time, Near, through several aeons, split the two. And then there were only two, the two that were near.
As my mass across the Western Hemisphere changes, it turns from a writhing mass of flesh into something else. Green scales begin to form upon the surface. Tremendous rolling hills, high mountains made out of fleshy green scales. And then slowly my body begins to sweep away from whatever is beneath, and you can see a deep ocean of blood as I take my form as a dragon.
A simple black tendril emerges from the other half of the sphere, writhing, twisting, forming. An arm, a leg, a torso, a demonic skull-like head. Reaching into myself, the serpent wraps tightly, squeezing the black ichor of nothingness of the primordial ooze that I once was, forming chaos. I reach out into the vast expanse of this new world, and the ooze slowly drifts across the land, changing sky, changing land to sea, bringing life, dark, lush, twisted, beautiful, ugly. Everything that was has been changed.
I witness the ball and the division that has happened. And I scowl at the horrible figure and what it has done. It does not appear to want to leave. It keeps coming back, clinging on to what was made, what was stable. I begin to expand. I begin to expand the distances between things, trying, as I might, to keep the entity separate.
I am flying above the primordial western oceans, and I can see before my very eyes the ocean distorting and from beneath a deep upwelling of blood mixing with the seawater. There is I can see beneath me a deep and dark coagulation, a scab forming from the depths. I name it Aran, the First Land.
Watching his brother work, Sepis walks closer. His aura felt before he is seen, like lingering stench of too much perfume. His serpent squeezes tightly around him as more black primordial ooze is leached from his body. Everything that crawls can swim. Everything that swims can fly. Everything that flies can burrow. The world continues to change. And out of the darkness, tiny sparks of light begin to emerge.
I look between things. I look beyond the thing that was once one and now is two in horror. I look at what the thing that calls itself Sepis has done. It reaches beyond neither. I begin to regret what I have done.
The black ichor of my brother, the ooze mixing with the seawater and the scabbed over coagulation of primordial dragon blood creates vermin, insects, moss, the darker aspects of nature. within the interior of Aran, the first land, the mountains begin to harden and become stone hard. A deep and dark volcanic rock throughout the interior of the lands of Aran stiffens. I fly to the very center of this wasteland, and I sit on a perch of the very peak.
Watching his brother's flight pattern, Sepis smiles, his demonic skull-like features lipless, barely cracking as he starts to move closer, bringing more chaos and tumultuous change. Sickness from the healthy, death from the living, sadness from the joy, the constant evolution being seen with every step, the slow heaviness caused by near, drawing him to a pace glacial, painful, as he tries to fight through time, space. Near is no longer so close. He starts to slowly tire, struggle, collapses into the depths of the sea, creating more change and a burst of magma. It rises from the bubbling waters from where he fell.
With the final stretch that is distance, I begin to enclose things back to a form that they once had. As time slows, so does the distance between things. But I ensure that as the continents and the lands of Kamu begin to recede into one another, that Aran, the first land, reaches as it begins to grow closer unto my dying visage, that Aran is at the peak of myself, and the sister lands of Kamu begin to arch around me, encasing me, a gigantic U. And it's within that space that all of these, at the bottom of the sea, that I rest and I open the first portal, a sink, a drain of the oceans begins to pour out from me and into past and future unbound.
Even from my perch atop Mount Ulorn in the center of Aran, I can hear the oceans rushing. I lie back. Much of my strength is spent. I present my dragon claw to my mouth and bite down. The blood spills and forms into a small version of myself, a small dragon. I put it on the palm of my hand and look down. You are the first. You are the very first. And I have given you your life, but I shall not give you a name. What is your name? I stare at the dragon.
The dragon, greenish, teal green, aquamarine scales, eyes tentatively looking at its creator, Camus. It utters, I am intelligence.
The serpent, desperate to save Sepis, wraps around its coils deeper into the ocean, slamming against the shores, turning into wood itself, starts to heave its master, desperately pulling the distances begin to shrink. Sepis takes a breath of air, breathing out. More primordial ooze stretches across the land, a fog from the ocean, a cloud in the sky, dark, stormy. Rain pours across the land, nourishing it all. Life springs anew. Creatures emerge. Humans, animals, they seem to know something. They know something's changed. They know something bigger exists. Sepis reaches for the serpent, and the serpent, now a tree, bears fruit. This fruit falls, dropping seeds, creating more forests. The first trees, the first forests. And these creatures seem to celebrate, and Sepis stares blankly.
Terrified at the bottom of the sea, the primordial waters rushing into me, I focus, trying to manifest some resemblance of stability, something of what was once near. The primordial waters of Kamu mix with my will, and determined to find a goal to what my child Sepis, to find where I went wrong in their separation. The first portal manifests me at the beginning, where Kamu created the lands and Sepis once sought to change them. It's in this form that I manifest that I realize I am weak, that all of what I once was is still in the present time. And it's in this small diminutive form that I am able to manifest limbs, the face, and arms, legs. They look about. The material of Kamu is beautiful, but I realize the change that Sepis has brought can also bring beauty. I take their primordial essences and craft for myself a companion at the beginning of time.
Lying on the very peak of Mount Ulorn, the first snowfall begins to pepper my body. The blood from my claw continues to gush, and the many lesser offspring of Kamu, the many lesser of my offspring are formed. The drakes lesser dragons, all hardening without any, all hardening and forming without any of my guidance or attention, and taking wing to fly across the arid, volcanic, mountainous interior of Aran towards the verdant, chaotic coasts. The brightness of the sun dries out the center of Aran completely. It is there's no moisture left from the creation.
The diminutive dragon, tail dragon, flying circles around Camus and perches on the base of the mountain, looking up at Camus, seeing many others similar to himself spread in between the land, looking around, seeing creation and destruction happening one after the other repeatedly, raises his voice. Creator Camus, there I see creatures, but they have no form, they have no purpose. They exist just to stop existing. Why is that so? Why are they not like me?
I spit phlegm. I cough across the mountainside of Mount Ulan, and I smile wryly, my teeth revealed. I have given so much blood to create this land, blood to create you, and you come to me with queries and you seek guidance. I must rest. I cannot answer your questions. You're making sense of this universe is your own responsibility as my child. I must rest. The heavy lids of Camus close for just a moment, but then open very slightly through narrowed eyes. Camus still looks at the world, but much of his energy is gone.
The serpent squeezes the trees tightly, tempting all these new beings. More creatures scurry, slither, and bound. Sepis looks high to the sky, Mount Ulan, watching the void grow as day shifts to night and Camus falls asleep, it seems. Or is he just pondering? Sepis walks towards the ocean, looking down at Nier, wondering if it's far, and begins to walk slowly towards him. Reaching out to touch Nier, to experience what could be his mother.
I've lived through the past, witnessed as a two-legged man, Camus and Sepis, now brought to the present. I have retroactively sired what I have named man through the fusion of my children. I witnessed Sepis, along with my clan, leave and into the ocean to visit my corpse. Curious.
Resting Kamu's eyes half closed, he takes his claw and grasps the volcanic rock of the mountain. Very subtly, very slowly, the rock beneath his claws changes. It becomes silver, gold, platinum, the great metals slowly forming veins and roots within the mountain, proceeding downwards, carving out cavities and caves throughout the deep area within Aran.
Intelligence takes flight once again, and speaking out loud to his creator. Then sense I shall make of things, and begins pointing and naming things, the things that are not changing, naming minerals, naming gems, every now and then casting a look towards the east side of creation. Constant change.
Cepis, finally touching the corpse of Nier, pulls back quickly as ice forms. Glacial formations forming islands throughout the ocean. Gasping for air, the coldness making his body numb. He stumbles, breaks the ice, forming icebergs. Islands, more shapes, more mountains, more lands spring up from this ball of clay that Camus created. Desperately searching for something to hold on to grab onto, Camus created something so vast, so large, touching near, made distances unpredictable. Cepis tumbles, falls. Does he drown? Does he get buried? Does he fall beneath the earth? The lands can no longer hold him. It's soft. No, it's hard. Chaos. It's too hard to predict. Cepis, in a turmoil, twists, turns. The land changes around him. He forms so quickly a tomb. Deep, shallow, he doesn't know. He is lost in the darkness of this land his brother created. And time means nothing. He no longer knows where he is.
The men and women that fall from me realize and share my infatuation, and over the coming aeons witness the glaciers, harvest them and the strange materials that they contain, whereas all the others fall for the dragons. They are infatuated by them flying overhead and the order that they bring. A schism within my own people begins to grow. Perhaps they will follow my will. They will keep the distance between the two.
The dragons, the drakes, keep exploring all nooks and crannies of creation. The dragon, the tail dragon, starts flying towards his siblings, his younger siblings, talking with them and teaching them speak, teaching them of what he has witnessed.
On top of the mountain, the half sleeping body of Kamu begins to calcify. My large talons become rigid and fixed to the earth. My scales lose their luster and become dull like stone. And the interior of my body becomes like a deep and dark cave. The last bits of moisture are drying, but there is one small pool within my heart that yet remains wet, and from that pool, a tentative arm emerges, and then another, and another, and an unexpected race of bipedal figures emerge from my body cavity and begin to walk down the mountain towards the verdant exterior.
The serpent, noticing Sepis missing, becomes desperate, slithering from the great tree that was bearing fruit and feeding and tempting all these new beings. It abandons it all in search of its master. Slowly circling this mass of a planet, its path growing wider and wider until it enters the void itself. Even his brother Camus can see this giant serpent, grasp onto the sun, pushing it as a beam of light as it desperately snakes back and forth, searching for its lost master. Day becomes night, night becomes day. The planet heats, it cools, it changes, but yet Sepis is missing.
The drakes now looking up to the teal dragon. The teal dragon teaches them that they were the first, similar to creation itself, that they are children of the land, and it is their right to inherit and make sense of it, to make order of it. There is no sense to the senseless, endless mutation that happens.
I look to mankind and I grow humbled in how they, in their ignorance and their inaction, seem to understand Sepis and Kamu more than I ever could. I go to the glaciers of Sepis and I give myself a piece. I give a piece of myself to the essence of Sepis, and then I allow it to grow as if it were a deity unto its own. And I look to the stars that the betrayer god had made and manifest, and I tell this creature that I've created that its father created those things, and I do not want them unwarded, and that it was to be the one to join with that and watch that serpent as whatever those things are, those stars, are protected. And I go to the dragons of Kamu and find their chief. And I do the same. I look at all of the creation that Kamu has made and realize that I am not the one to hold it, but there needs to be someone who can. And I give unto the lords and chiefs of Kamu's brood pieces of myself. Space and time have been established. They are anchored. Space has been stretched, but it is set. Time, it is loose, and the desperate can utilize it. And I, Nier, relinquish that immense power to walk with the mortals forever, watching them.
The serpent, now bound by space and time, slows enough to spot its master's tomb. Not knowing the change in time and space, Sepis is oblivious to all this, but change will be slow as itself starts to bubble and percolate, and the primordial ooze contained within slowly dissipates from his being, spreading across the land. Change will always happen, but it will be governed by this time, by this space, from the source, and the serpent knows this, pushing the sun slowly around to ensure that his master's will is done day and night, night and day.
Cool.
Whoa, we'll hold it here. We'll stop the
Cool.
genesis of the world.
All right.
Good. That's interesting. It's got some interesting things.
I've got the Nephilim coming down the mountain, so I wanted to do them, but that's another book.
Yeah. General, like I'll have to watch back and like take some notes because there's so much going on.
Oh.
I was not really worried for the turn inflation due to the nature of what we were doing. I don't think that's such much of a problem. I think it was good that you took enough time, but I want to hear from you guys first.
Yeah.
What do we have here?
So what I was doing, I kind of decided kind of like midway through that I was actually going to try to do the world building stuff and kind of like I really wanted to make stuff. So that's kind of like what I was focusing on. I do think that like in retrospect, I should have done a lot more interaction, but it's really hard, right? Because of what
I was waiting for you guys to interact. I wanted
that's kind of weird in hindsight, but you know that's what the next session is for, right?
They died too fast.
You died
Yeah.
too fast. You threw me in the water. You threw me in the ocean.
Yeah.
I got lost a bit there with the ocean part because like okay, I'm trying to think what is this dragon gonna do?
I thought you went down there near of your own free will. Was that not what happened? I was confused by that.
I got the vibe that I believe what was described was like me slowing down, like chaos kind of like changing me and how I operate. So it was me sinking. It was me landing in the ocean and slowing down. So I interpreted that as like constant. Like I'm just this is how it is now. So like in a desperate attempt, hitting the bottom because I'm sinking, I established the portal motif by sucking in all the land masses, the first portal. And then it just so happens that portal brings me back to the past where I established humanity. Because in the previous description, Wonka described how there was men and women. So we didn't create them. So I jumped on that.
Oh, I thought, because like the way you described it, I thought it was like becoming human and not becoming, like it was a kind of like chaotic. So it was unestablished. There was no order to it.
Yeah, so what I described was creating the portal, and then me using the last bit of my now diminished will, because I was receding into myself, because I was like spasming basically, as much of a god can spasm, and use my power over time to create a portal into the past. So going into the past, manifesting as a bipedal man, and then now witnessing my
okay.
witnessing what I was
I see.
Mm-hmm. So,
gotcha.
And in that same breath, siring humanity, because again, Wonka established that there was man. So I kind of wanted to see what that looked like. And humans are pretty cool. So going back in time and being the first man, quote unquote.
Yeah.
That's correct, because I just said automaton, like beings. I didn't define them as men yet because of chaos.
So so going back in time and doing that, and trying to learn from my mistake, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that's good. I do. I'm gonna kind of like grade this on would I play a game in this world. So I think so. Yes. So like
especially
I do like the idea how humans are like paradoxical. You've made them kind of like paradoxical beyond.
They're balanced, quote unquote.
Yeah.
They are, and some of them separate. Some of them do lean one way or the other into Kamu or Nsepis. That economy, but their purpose is to understand.
Yeah.
To understand the mistakes of Nier.
Right. The last thing that I was doing is I was creating a different race of like Nephilim, evil giant people, or like the ones that are like what am I thinking of? What was that series? Of the kind of like the kids that travel through dimensions, and there's a lot of biblical stuff I'm thinking of. A Wrinkle in Time. You guys remember A Wrinkle of Time?
I haven't seen it.
Okay, so yeah,
the mentioning Narnia.
the book series are pretty weird because there is like they go through different time and space, but there is a big section where they go to pre-Diluvian, as in the Great Flood, kind of like before Noah, and like there's angels and all this stuff in there. Anyway, I was introducing kind of like an evil, godly race at the end. So okay. I do like how we did have an origin of humanity.
And I apologize to Nier. I mean, I did not mean to imply your death, but I love how you handled it. That was awesome.
No, that's good.
I was like, where do I go with this? I said at the gate, I'm not fighting. We're not rolling anything. It's just, how do I figure this out?
I would like I'm sure you guys may. I don't know, and I'm sure you guys will rewatch this probably, but I would like kind of just trading out this because my brain was going like 200%. Trying to
it's hard.
Fully capture everything and try to note down in a way, and then you introduced me. I was not more an observer.
I wanted to create some people to talk to. Then go do shit.
I'm gonna be logos, the dragon or something like that.
Yeah, this could be. Oh, this is a in-universe document. The account of intelligence, the dragon.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. That's cool because I think session 1 is still in the Age of Creation, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So it's still Age of Creation.
The one note I don't see that I do want to add, that my idea at the time, my last bit, was me giving my godly essence and just reserving immortality for myself, so I can watch what happens to the world, kind of thing. So I can play in the second session. Was me giving my essence to children of Sepis and children of Kamu, to then create gods.
What were the children of substance besides like
I
ever-changing life forms?
The material from the glacier, and I gave
from
myself
the glacier. Okay,
I think the glaciers were still floating around. That's like the lingering essence. Now that Sepis is at the bottom of the sea.
I want to hear kind of Wonka Chunk's explanation because I have my own interpretation, but I'm not sure exactly if that's correct. So
this is good for sure. The smashing of the ice, I touched Nir's corpse, and the freezing shocked them, creating glaciers, which sort of made sense in the moment because death is cold and the void. And from the tree, the serpent was squeezing the tree, bearing fruit, creating life, and then the chaos of things in the ocean that swim, things that crawl, can fly, so on and so forth. So it wasn't me creating, but instead changing what was happening. So seeds became the automatons, and then the serpent was constantly, I did state that it was changing and tempting and drawing them into the fruit and corrupting. And then the slowness after that point, after Nir did his thing with the time and space, it slowed down with the serpent searching for his master and tuned from solid, it's basically self-entombing because the ground shifted from hard to soft. He couldn't control it. In a desperate change and fall, he became solid, yet magma's flowing, water's flowing, ice is forming, and entombing himself. And then the serpent realized, my master's gone. I have to. So I guess my session 2 would be through the eyes of the serpent in some way, shape, or form.
Gotcha. So in terms of the world, we are saying that this is kind of like the big parts of creation are done, and we've got humans, we got plants, we got trees and animals and stuff and fish.
There is
is that part done? I think it is. That part is done, right?
Yeah.
Are we in agreement?
It will probably change during the ages, but So is there like a single main landmass and everything else is like floating ice? Is that what I understand?
No, I think I, or at least I, or Chris might have also added to this, where there are other islands. There's one big one. That's like the main one. And that was the peak of the portal, the tip of that Nir made, quote unquote, because that was Kambu's favorite, quote unquote. But there are still other lands kind of arching around the portal, quote unquote.
Yeah. So my interpretation of what the world is like is that there is a big central continent called Aaron, the first land. There are also islands that were created by Sepis around there. And then there was also the modification that I did not quite understand of Nir, where there's like a crescent being created. You mentioned like a crescent chain of islands. What is that exactly?
So that was him retracting and spasming because of slowing down and not knowing how to speed back up, kind of thing. So I guess it's as heavily. I think I even established it at the end where you can go back, you can't go forward. So if you're desperate enough, the way that time has been cemented, you cannot go into the future. You only go into the past for future reference. But the idea was that during the spasming, time got broken, going into the past.
Okay.
And also distance got fucked up and things got a lot tighter. And that tightness kind of formed that U with Aaron being the capital, the tip of the portal, quote unquote. That's why I mentioned it.
So is there what is it shaped like?
I was thinking a big U, a big gate, a big portal.
A big U. Okay.
The first portal.
So there is still a mountain. Somewhere. Okay.
It's still a big ass. It's a big ass landmass.
Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. So basically, what you're saying is that the supercontinent is now U-shaped, and they're
not
also
necessarily the supercontinent.
There's an U around right?
Yeah. It's like the supercontinent can just be as big as you want it to be, but then there is a U shape that extends from it. And the U, so it's like your supercontinent, and then zooming out even further, there are these islands that string from it that go down.
And it makes sense because the serpent was going all around the land. We could say it helped shape and form some of that. So I mean, that could be kind of blue sky open.
So what was that bit with the sun? I was a bit lost there. Like,
I just mentioned the sun arbitrarily.
Yeah,
but like the serpent
after did something with it. Wonka Chunk it made it so it moved. Is that right?
Yeah. Okay. From day to night. So basically, everything's a void. We didn't really define darkness
Space.
beyond, or space. So space and time exists, but the void, it became space.
It was empty.
But, Camus created the sun at one point, because that's what he did. And the serpent noticed he can't find his master. His master's missing. So he went up, and kind of the creation of myth, instead of having Hermes on the chariot, I figured, okay, well, he's got to find his master. Maybe the serpent will do it. So now he pushes or carries, and time slowed down for day and night to form.
So that was the big thing with the children that I wanted to do, where like they have this divine spark, and I tried to christen the god of space or the stars, because that was, from my perspective, that was
what it was. Okay,
that was the big like sacrilege, because not only have you changed Camus, which you've always done since the beginning of everything.
Okay.
But now you've changed beyond Camus, which I'm like, well, you can't. Oh, that's not cool.
Yeah,
I don't know what's out there. You can't touch that. So I christened this god as like, you're gonna follow that snake. I don't know what's gonna happen out there, but you're gonna chase that snake down. So there'll be like a.
So he's a child of near from Sepis,
yeah,
right?
Using the essence from the glaciers to create this child.
And that was cool. I really like that. You jumped in twice. Save the story.
So I guess it's kind of order. He's kind of gonna be like the god of order. Is that it?
The child?
Yeah.
Could be. Or knowledge.
I mean,
although
the dragon. I mean that can be like but I think in a way they kind of will try to make sense and put stuff. All right.
Let's
the god of discovery, because that's like the one thing that was like, this was not planned. Whatever that is, kid, go find it out. Chase that serpent.
Yeah, and I apologize for all the chaos. I do, but it is what I am.
That's what your job was.
Yeah. Okay. Real quick, I want to say that the bipedal figures are the Nephilim.
Bipedal dragons.
No, so they're not dragon people.
They came from the last bit of liquid from his heart, like the last bit of blood.
So I'm not imagining those being draconic people. They're like
superhumans,
humanoids. Yeah, like they're superhumans. Let's see. Anything else?
Check my schizo rambling here.
No.
And make additions. Now, everyone. Like, did I miss something important that you think that was pretty big deal? Why did you not write that? Like the tree part. I don't think I wrote about the tree.
No, yeah, you didn't.
So something I do want to bring up is the Nephilim. I kind of like the idea. This is not treading on anything, I don't think. Yeah. That they are independent of the dragons. Like the dragons are already skedaddled. Like the big dad is dead. These things crawled out of his corpse.
Yeah.
So me at the end giving the last bit of most of my spark to the dragons, I think that leaves open for more gods of creation, like the children of your god, to kind of like be a thing.
Yeah.
But not the Nephilim. The Nephilim came even after that.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking for next session, or however we want to do it, is that the body of Camus is dried up and dead. It's rock. But he has been reborn as one of these guys. So he's kind of like undercover boss. He's going undercover in a lot of ways, where he's one of these new people. So he is still Camus, but like he is even more attenuated. But now he's like,
it just sounds like we can go into the hero game after this. You got a human form. I've got a human form.
Yeah.
Exactly. He can play the dragon. We'll ride on the dragon.
Sep is like done for. Is the serpent his only legacy? How does that work?
I mean, at some point, I could, in the next session, Sepis the serpent manifests into a person, maybe something deviant, something that's diseased. I think these two guys need, for story, they've sort of been established. So Camus has to go into human form. That has to go through story at some point, and
we have to discover that.
and then I have to evolve from serpent into a devious disease or something that carries a disease, whether it's humanoid or a creature. I haven't decided yet, because the sun is now going to be governed by time, and the serpent will now release it, and it'll continue its orbit, so to speak. I think that's where I want to go with that transition.
Okay, but then this guy here, who's not named yet, he'll have a say on that. That can be a player as well. Someone can, because I like how you left some of the creations vague, so players can take the lead. Oh, I'll be that one, and that I think was very interesting. I just wanted to format it, like in a more intelligible thing, and I'll need your help later on.
I think
for that.
The way I would do this is I would list the races that have been created, kind of like the players, and I would list the locations.
There we go.
So, yeah, I would do it like that. So I feel that the intelligent races are the dragons. Perhaps the lesser
I like
dragons
how you named them drakes, not dragons. I feel like the only true dragon, rather than Camu, is intelligence.
I said drakes and lesser dragons, and I kind of left it a little ambiguous. So I don't know if there's all the dragons are intelligence other than intelligent.
Yeah, because at the time I wanted a word for intelligence, could not come to my mind. But I think logos is a word.
I think intelligence is great. So we have drakes and lesser dragons. We have humans.
Yeah, and I'm willing to let Dom take that, because I want the automatons to be more cavemanish, very primitive, very mole man like.
Sure.
Okay, right.
So we'll call them subhumans for easy understanding, but for sure they're. But the real people, we'll give it to Dom.
Yeah.
How do I write that? Like, how do I
humans?
No, because I have what they are, right? Automatons, they're subhumans, do nothing. But the way they came about makes them a bit special, right?
Maybe paradoxical. So yeah, that's a good question. Are these people, or are they special people?
They're people.
Okay.
Homo sapien superior. No.
Yeah. Well, it could be that kind of like we want to do an interesting setting without, standard human speaking common. But
they speak something.
It depends on what the view is. But you know what I mean.
To be fair, Logos, he kind of invented language. That was a thing. He went around naming stuff. So the first whatever this language is what the three primordials spoke, and that's what Logos can speak.
Yeah, I would say, obviously, if the humans are humans, then that's an easier touchstone for role playing.
The big thing that kind of defines them by why Nier made them was to kind of spread. He was trying to understand where he went wrong. So it was why Nier went wrong.
Okay.
What provoked Sepis into betraying him and slowing time down?
So are these people congenitally introspective, or I don't know.
So,
I'm just poking at the idea. Is there something specific that they get from their heritage of Nier that is different from humans on Earth?
I think the big thing is making them a hero race, where they're on an eternal quest. They have a yearning to understand.
Okay.
Where what is going on in the world.
Okay. The Nephilim are very bitter, and they want to dominate the world.
You give a name to the peak. Mount Ulorn. Did I write that right?
Mount Ulorn. ULORN.
Wait, U L-O what? U-L?
ULORN is how I spelled it.
Okay, U-R.
Under creatures, I just vaguely describe things that swim, things that crawl, things that slither, things that fly. So we should just add that just in case somebody decides to name it, or we come up with something creative and we want to. I don't want to say just dragons are flying, right? Like somebody may come up with avian bird-like people or whatever they decide to do.
Yeah.
Also imply that there's like chimerical creations, like things that like there's like flying fish. I kind of got the vibe.
Yeah, we want to keep it pretty random.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Just generalize things that have been created.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can leave what the specifics are to the future.
Yeah. Can you just because we're doing world building for the Nephilim? Can you put that they're 8 feet tall and they're domineering and bitter?
Okay. Is it one thing or two for feet? Is one, right?
I don't remember. I think it's
it's 1 for feet.
Yeah.
2 is inches.
Dominating. Dominating?
Domineering is also.
How do you?
Sepus broke apart, right? He touched Nier and then he shattered away. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Could you interpret that as being his resting place too, or not? Like at the bottom of the ocean with Nier?
Bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, entombed. I would say like I stumbled, I smashed the ice, creating icebergs, so I'm probably not too far away, but I also formed islands and all these other things. As I was splashing, the world was changing, so I wouldn't be too far away from here.
But it wouldn't
be buried. I wouldn't say under the water necessarily, but under, because it's entombed. It'd be like under stone and rock, and but definitely near where you are. Near.
Right. Yeah, near.
Okay. Okay, so is that the portal location?
That is where there is a vortex in the center of the planet, quote unquote, or the world that is draining the ocean.
Okay.
And it is sending it into the past.
Yeah, I thought that was dope. That's a big thing too that I have to write here.
So is it coming from like there? Does that mean that there's another part where the water's coming out?
Good question.
Okay.
We did not establish that.
Yeah, did not establish
There's just a lot of water.
That'll be an adventure.
Sepus wouldn't be dead. He's just entombed because of the change in time and the rotation. We can only go backwards in time. So me being trapped and entombed makes sense. Sepus won't be dead. He's just, because of the chaos and the fluctuation of his tomb, he could somehow emerge, but it would just be a repeating cycle.
I like that.
In my mind.
I like that. Like it's a metaphor for how change, when run rampant and at an expedited rate, can change everything. But when everything's slowed down, he's like, "Oh, wait a second, I can't operate without things going forward as fast as Nier once had it."
Yeah,
gotcha.
I like that.
So
the tree is still a thing, right?
Yeah. The tree of fruit, which was getting squeezed and being tempted and creating the whole Adam and Eve sort of vibe, but with multiple automaton subhumans, which Nier claimed and said, "No, you're human. You guys are with me now," which is awesome. I love that. This is poison. This is good. He could bring order to the whole society as we continue to move forward.
There is like at least 3 intelligent.
Yeah. Are the automatons and men different? They are a bit different.
They are different.
Absolutely.
They might have interbred.
Okay.
Yeah, very subhuman, caveman-like. I think you know maybe hunched in their motions, almost ape-like at times. Whereas humans, we're upright. We're smart. We function.
Gotcha. So they're like kind of like.
So many slaves.
Exactly.
Sure.
And why not?
They're okay. So they're kind of like. Okay, got it. I think I got it. So I got another location. It was kind of not very fleshed out, but it was the veins of precious metal beneath the earth.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And that was cool because it came from your fingers, and the way you described it, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah. I was imagining the veins.
And I can, in my mind's eye, I can see it actually spreading out throughout the land in some way, shape, or form. Like dripping and oozing and seeding in its own way.
Yeah.
What else?
So put that in locations. Subterranean metal veins and caves.
Yeah, subterranean metal veins.
I will say, like, are we going to start leaning into fantasy? Are we going to, it's something that I think we can touch base on a little later, but because right now it's very fantasy driven with the dragons and monsters. I think I pushed it a little ahead with the sort of subhuman caveman like beings, and so it opens up the world anyways.
Yeah, I think there's a lot here. There's a lot of
I'll probably feed this to AI and like, please organize this because but I'll need your help too. I don't know.
I think it'll choke a lot on a lot of this stuff. This is very similar to some other boring shit.
No, I think the Nephilim's a good idea too, because it's something superior or in between the two of the subhumans and humans. I mean, they're brutish, but they're intelligent and powerful. So, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, that could be cool. Okay. So I don't know if we should put it down here because I didn't say it, but basically Kamu is going to be reincarnated as one of these Nephilim.
Yeah.
And that's going to be my player character.
The Nephilim wasn't the
the blood of Kamu is going to be his first character. It's going to be one of the Nephilim.
Yeah.
So you wanna go? Okay, you guys have the character sheet. Do you want to go ahead and?
Actually, let me stop for just a moment. Are we continuing the God story, or are we going to be playing player characters?
I think the gods, because this is the prologue, so we still quote unquote have not had a session 1 as the gods.
Okay. So we are going to have a session as the job. We're still gods. We're going to do God stuff. Okay, cool. That's my question. That's all I have.
So do you want to maybe like, because it's real quick to make characters a character sheet for the greater gods now that you're going to play next session. Kind of take the momentum, or do you want to do that on a later time?
Can you give the list of all the greater god portfolios? Because I want to pick something that matches now.
Okay, so we are going into greater. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think we're going to greater now because I feel like there's no space for more primordials other than.
Oh no, I was going to suggest like a weird adventure to figure something out as a primordial Kamu, as a quote unquote man near, and whatever whatever. I think even Wonka mentioned it, playing as like the serpent becoming a man or something like that.
All right, that's fine. That's fine with me.
Whatever you're vibing with. Cool to go into more gods though. If you don't want to play the Star Child, Wonka, I'll play the Star Child.
You absolutely can be the Star Child.
That was my game. That was my end game all along.
It's easier for somebody to play something they have a passion for. I really was glad like Dom jumped on Nier and started things with time, because I was struggling to figure out what was going to happen, and I was hoping Camus would form enough for me to play off of, and he did, and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, what should be the name of this campaign?
Ooh,
I don't know.
Pantheon was like the idea of going to play as Pantheon, but
I don't know. I think for the greater god, I'm going to be life.
Okay. So for the character sheet, you can write your domains under skills. Okay, you can just do that. Go ahead and do that.
Okay, so explain aspects. Aspects are like a subdivision that means
There
you're
is-
more specialized, or is it
Yeah,
like
it's the same thing we did in Impact Frame, where you could have art, but then you could have a specialization where it was like painting or singing. It's the same thing here
Okay.
for the domains.
So Star Child will be light and an aspect of knowledge that is discovery.
okay, yeah. So so I should if I'm doing life, I should have aspects that are different things. Is that what you're saying? Nicholas?
More specifics, yeah. More like be more specific. Like, it's life, but it's animal life or just fertility. You know, not necessarily a.
So am I saying? So I'm not the god of all life, or
I mean, are you a greater one? Because you can be
Yeah.
that, but you can have like that. That is so. If there is two gods of life, you can have different specializations. Where like you have like
Right.
Athena and Ares. They both god of war, gods of war, but they have their specific niches of war. It's that kind of deal.
okay.
So Star Child is light and what?
Light and knowledge, but the aspect of knowledge that is discovery.
Mm-hmm.
Can you go back to the list
Yes, of
and
course.
paste it here?
I guess we have to specify it more to light stars as well.
Okay.
Because he won't be the god of all light. It's the god of stars.
So, in your character sheet, I think you can use the species part to write if you're a primordial or a greater god. As well. The dice part we'll do after the concept part, I think.
Okay. Actually, I have a criticism, Nicholas. I don't see an Earth god here.
That's true. That's true.
Can I be an Earth god?
Yeah.
Life
I will not
and
write it here, but
life and Earth parentheses.
okay, who is that again?
My name is Lon. Reincarnation of, Kamu. My domains, yeah.
It's Earth.
So my primary domain is life, and Earth, specifically underground and caves. So kind of like darkness and Earth and being underground. So I'm considering darkness, but like basically the idea is that it's very specifically those things.
The cool kid word is chthonic.
Chthonic, sure. Chthonic. Isn't chthonic fiery though, or is it? No, it's not. It's cold Earth.
Dark, underground, subterranean.
The Chthonians. That should be a better name for the Nephilim because I don't like the name. That...
Sure, yeah, I'm for that.
That's good.
The Chthonians. What I will say is I don't want to do the stereotypical underground dwelling race. So they could be they could be they're not dwarf like. They can be up on the surface. They're not like the drow.
Mm-hmm.
It's totally fine. Their eyes are,
unless there's a big battle and another god curses them, like
unless something happens. But I think by default I don't want them to just immediately become the drow or whatever the fuck.
I get you. Like we're doing something creative, and they're like, just elves and dwarves, an orc, but they're blue.
Yeah. The Chthonians.
And the serpent. serpent kind of became a god as well. You played a serpent, right, Wonk?
Yes.
So what would be its domain?
So I'm thinking fate would be and because it's kind of the next thing. Like fate is going to determine whether you're healthy, sick, happy, sad, lucky, unlucky.
The serpent also steered the subhumans. He was giving them direction. It was giving them the garden.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, squeezing the tree.
Yep. He was giving them the fruits.
The food, the temptation, the
action by the serpent. Okay. Were there any other gods? I guess like Logos is god-ish, I would say.
Yeah, he's kind of goddish.
What would these domains be? Kind of intelligence as well, or just a general like
Knowledge.
deity, but not necessarily.
It could be knowledge communication. That was the big established thing, right? But knowledge.
I think it's a greater one.
Yeah.
Yeah, knowledge, the sky, something like that.
Draconic.
Let me check. Yeah, it's knowledge, and it's maybe communication. I do think he's very biased towards the dragons. Maybe he could change depending on his interactions with the other ones, and he says, you're pretty cool yourself. I didn't know you was chill like that, kind of deal. But communication, and I'll put order as well, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. As in making sense of stuff.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Any other that was established as a god of sorts?
We could list Nier as the first man. I just don't know what he would. I mean, he's not even god. Like, he's just an immortal now. He's just kind of hanging out. Kind of wanted to emphasize that he's just hanging out and watching.
Oh, okay, wait. Okay.
A lot happened in that period of time.
Nier is now an immortal man, the prototypal man.
Yep.
Does that make sense? Does that?
Yep.
Did I? Okay.
So just an observer now.
Observer. Okay. On the concept part, I believe that's it, right?
I think so.
Yeah. I don't want to take much of your guys' time because we've been here for 2 hours now, but just to kind of have it, resting and the bullet ready to be shot, so to speak. I will share this thing here. Oh, this thing here. So the numbers for the characters you guys gonna play on session 1, right? The meat of the system, because you could die, you could lose, stuff could happen. I wrote a thing here that so if a mortal interacts with one of the gods, the way I've had it is if that mortal is like a demigod or a hero, otherwise you can just snap them from existence. Yeah. But if it's like a Hercules situation or like even a Sisyphus who was like a thief, right? But he was like incredibly smart, so he managed to trick the gods. So if you're dealing with one of those guys, I thought that either you consider all your rolls 20 plus and then you roll the dice, or you just add an extra d20 to that. And how do you think it's better represents? there should be a chance, right, for the hero to trick the god.
The way that Hero Quest, the role-playing game, does it is that you just have an outright. You just always have a success. So like if it's contested and they roll and they succeed and you succeed, well, you got a critical. So you always have a degree of success higher than what you rolled against the person. So
but
if you
that's
fail,
not how Impact Frame works.
So it's not contested.
You cannot translate that. Yeah.
So okay, you're saying basically if Hercules goes against a god, the god gets +10, more or less.
Or because the way Wonka Chunk, so you understand, right? I didn't send you. The way the system works is you have your attributes and you have your stats, right? So whenever you do something, you're gonna see what attribute it represents. It's usually body or mind. You're not really rolling spirit.
Sure.
Like it's body and strength. Then you roll those two dice, and you add those numbers. You got a 16. The other guy did the same, got a 12. You beat him, so you get to do your thing. And what I was thinking of, maybe the gods just add an extra d20 just for being a god, or you have a flat 20 plus. Like, which one do you guys think better makes more sense?
So in this question, we're the gods, right? So in the next session, we're going to be the gods.
Yeah.
So I think it doesn't matter. Like if you wanted to do a kind of like your name is Hercules.
It could happen that like one of the big dudes, the first creations, like they're somewhat strongish. Could happen, something could happen. So we need to kind of straight that out, I think.
So there are no degrees of success in Impact Frame. It's just pass fail, correct?
Sorry,
right.
I did not understand.
There are no degrees of success. It's just either you pass or you fail, correct?
Yeah, exactly. So I cannot translate. I like that what Hero Quest does, but I cannot translate it to the system. So I think I would say that we just add like a d20 to whatever you roll. Mm-hmm. I think that gives you like a very good advantage while still giving chance for you to roll in a 1 on d20, and then the demigod, the hero can beat you on that one.
So this may be really fussy, but this is how I would do it, which is basically if you are you're either a worthy foe and you roll head to head, or you're not a worthy foe and I just blow you up. I think that's how it should work. Which is basically you don't have a kind of like this intermediate idea of this like Hercules. Like I would say that Hercules should be going toe to toe.
I see. Okay, I know. I think that's fine.
That would be my approach to it, just because there's a kind of a question of like, to what extent do we need mechanics for this?
Do you
like? We
okay,
would
for example, let me give you an example, Chris. You are playing a greater god.
Yep.
You're gonna generate your number here. What if a lesser god, like the god of the river next to my house, is like stronger than you? Like, are you fine with that? Because that can happen if we don't do the thing.
If that's kind of like a world building question, which is basically if you've got a divine spark, you can lay someone out. Which is, I think that's fine world building, honestly. If we're doing like, this is the great river god, and I'm a god of something else, and we punch each other, like I'm okay with that. Like, I think kind of like
the god of cutlery.
Yeah. It's like I mean, that's the kind of the question. If you want to introduce a god of cutlery, I think that might be fine. Like,
that
sure.
becomes kind of like a why have you done this? Like, you, meta, at a certain point, have a reason for introducing this, because now this is the myth. So what is this myth telling us that the god of cutlery is fighting the god of fucking metal, right? Like, what is that myth manifesting?
Yeah. So I would say the mechanics should flow from the world building, and I would say that I think it makes sense that the gods are just beating each other up. like having I know that kind of part of the things we talked about was kind of like these distinctions between god grades, But I just think that that's not. And personally, I don't think that type of world building is conducive to good storytelling. It should be you've got a divine spark, so you're good. Or this guy doesn't have. Yeah, like that's how I would do it. And also, like, of course, that's also kind of intruding on kind of like the way that you want to run things. If you want to do kind of like these different god levels, I would just say kind of trumping. This one trumps this one. This one trumps this one. But
I think it's better free for all. You know.
Yeah, this is just kind of like getting into like larger questions. This is exactly how I would run it if I was you. But like, I obviously, you are taking on the mantle. So like you need like
a simple resolution just to kind of make it feel a bit bigger would be to just give it like a die step higher. So like if you are this many tiers above them, you get that many tiers added, of your die.
Whenever you're fighting, by the way, I'll send you this after. I think we can do the dice off screen, and as you have questions, I can clarify through Discord.
Yeah, I think the gods of certain domains should all automatically succeed in some cases. I really do. Like if you're the god of time and you have to defuse a bomb, you've got all the time in the world. Like,
for sure. The matter is, if you're fighting now against the god of bombs, it is not a simple bomb, So now it should either be a contested thing. That's what I'm trying to straighten out. Otherwise, if it's in your domain, it's an automatic success. If it's outside of your domain, like if the god of time tries to bake a cake.
How do you feel about coding the role play? And that if they roll up on you and they say, and it's kind of like vague, and they say, "I am a worthy foe," that's the you son of a bitch. Fine, that's the code for it. You got to roll off.
Yeah. I think that's I like the binary just because like that makes it clearer what's happening when you can't talk about mechanics.
I know that in the Apocrypha, that's one of the recommendations for like coding the language. I've never seen anybody do it, but
the Apocrypha for what?
Fucking how to roleplay the hard way. I'm just being dramatic. Like you talked about like coding.
I thought you were talking about like Rune Quest or something like that.
No.
Okay,
do we hate the idea of coding language like that?
No, not at all. I think that it can open the doors to creativity, and it doesn't have to be specific. But you feel the presence of somebody coming up to you.
There you go.
You know that they have an intention of that. That's a simple encoding in a very creative way, and shit's gonna go down.
It'll most likely be me controlling these guys as well. Yeah. If they happen, so I'll just use my good sense. Like this is just a regular immortal.
They have so much more.
On the matter, I mean, I'm gonna send you this, and I'm gonna send you the little errata or the little hack that whatever I'm ignoring for the gods. But I'll send you everything. As far as the powers go, where is it? Here. You this will make more sense, but like the powers you can do when fighting. I don't know if that applies so much for the greater or the primordials, but I feel like the greater would be. I don't know. That's something to.
Because
go ahead.
Regardless of how we're going to reflect that, do we expect combat in this session?
I would say so.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got.
Doesn't need it has to happen, but.
And in terms of where everyone is at, is that I'm imagining something like Dragon Ball Z. Is that relatively accurate? Where it's like hyperhuman, not just superhuman, but kind of like
you're being tossed. Being tossed back a few feet in a D&D game is miles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Into orbit and punch back down.
Yep.
Okay. So okay. Good. I think it sounds like we're all on the same page on that part.
And you could, depending on how schizophrenic you want to get with it, you can get really weird. Where it's like, well, we've established that distance is fucked up. Like, like especially for the gods, the distance is weird right now. So it could be a matter of like, it feels a certain way, but the gods subvert it, especially like the children that Nier created, quote unquote. Because they got pieces of him.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah. Anyway, sorry to interrupt, Nicholas.
No, fine.
So
maybe for the gods, like the powers, I think you just do it. You just do it. You know, I don't think you roll.
Freeform.
The way the system works, that you kind of create your power. It's kind of like Ars Magica in a way, that you workshop how the power works, and then you can just use that. I think we'll leave this for the moral part of the game.
Yep.
When you're the gods, you just roll your dice with your attributes, and toss in an extra whatever for
yeah.
For what?
So
for your main gimmick.
Your skill.
Yeah.
So what?
Go
Would the contest be like vibes? Like if you're doing something inhuman, like would it be up to your justification for why you're rolling strength when throwing a star at somebody?
I would leave it up to you. If you think it's like moving with your mind, then use your mind intelligence. Like totally fine for you to exploit to make your guy be good at what it is supposed to be. On the matter of death, originally I thought like if you beat, because your health pool, your HPs are these 3 attributes. Do you want to do the way I did for Impact Frame, which if you die, if your body gets to 0, you roll your spirit to see if you get back up? Or do you want to do what I thought could be done for this project? That is, if you get 0'd here, you're just incapacitated, and then if to actually kill, extinguish the god would be to damage its spirit.
I like that.
You have to
it's just a physical form. So I mean, as far as I'm thinking, it's an avatar. Your physical body is an avatar of you, and so the spirit would be the crushing of that power, that being.
I'm not exactly sure what you're saying, Nicholas. Are you saying that like let's do, you're beating up Kamu the greater god, and Kamu gets ripped apart. Then you're saying that like you have to go fight Kamu's soul, or
no. You're incapacitated. And then let's say like there's an orb floating in video game terms. There's a little orb floating, and just tick, 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 on the orb until it breaks. Okay, now you're actually dead. Got a deal. The idea is that I'm gonna get your essence and I'm gonna destroy it. Like I have to choose to kill you.
So you'd want to kind of discuss or decide what our material spirit looks like when our body breaks.
No, I'm not even saying it should be like that. I mean, in fact, I want to settle that down because all the other games from now on will follow that rule.
Yep.
How do gods die? How should gods die? Is it just like, what if you're playing like the trickster god, and you might have like a low body, but it doesn't mean that you're weak. You know what I mean? Should you be defeated in like 3 slaps from a bigger another god? How do you want a god death to work? There's no god of death, like specifically so far.
How do you heal? How about that? Let's work backwards. I mean, if you've taken injury, how do you heal? The way you heal would be
the base game is just like just resting, you get your health back. I would say that maybe mechanically speaking, in a session, it's similar to that, unless you have like your buddies with the god. God of life is dead, but
Okay, how god death works. I guess my preference would be that you have to do something extreme, otherwise they just reform.
Right.
Because
you have to be poetic.
It has to be like in their domain or something like that. That's kind of like, I feel like that's I'm pulling a lot from how I think this should work from the Forgotten Realms God stuff, which is like
so we don't,
but I don't know.
Something else we don't have is an underworld. I think the closest thing to the underworld that we have is that vortex. So
even
what
then,
if because Sepis already kind of felt drawn to the vortex? What if it's something weird where it was, or it's kind of the vibe I got. What if it's something weird where like the soul of the god begins to drift towards the vortex, and destroying their spirit has something to do with like cutting them off, or like making sure they can't reach the vortex to be reincarnated or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
so you
That's
have
cool.
to trap in.
Yeah, I think that's cool. I just I think it's more interesting because we are gods that it's hard to kill us.
Yep.
Okay, let me suggest. You just cannot die until another player becomes a god of death and straight in that zone.
Usurps you.
Like, because right now there is no death in the world. Like, there is creation. I mean, you guys died, but you did, like, you're more of dispersed. You still somewhat exist.
We got recreated.
Because there's no death. There's no
Okay,
death in this reality. So
rewind just a moment. So this is the Elden Rings thing, where like, Nicholas, what you're saying is basically nobody dies. Is that right in the world?
So far,
because there's no death. Yeah.
Okay, so what happens?
Our soul
I think
drifts towards the whirlpool. I like that.
No. But like,
okay,
so
you know
the
what?
body...
Maybe because your soul gets the vortex and stuff to the past, you just kind of reappears because you're being thrown to the past.
You get reincarnated in a new body or something. Like
yeah,
quote unquote. Because that'd be a freaky thing for like the ghost of Nier is now the Undertaker. Like that weird, distant, broken version of himself is now like the, sorter of souls.
Okay, so, and the idea is that happens to every living thing, including gods, and the gods come back.
For now,
or maybe the gods go through the VIP velvet ropes and straight through, so they don't have to talk to Nier if they don't want to. I don't know. Maybe they do. I don't know.
Yeah. Until I would say, I think that's a nice thing. I feel at peace when I think, until someone takes the mantle for the god of death in the underworld or whatever, it's just like that. It will reappear like the next session, or even maybe the very same session. That'll be funny. A kill you just reappears like right next to your corpse. Hey, what's up?
I think I like the idea of mortals being repurposed, like getting sent back into the past, getting a new body. Have fun wherever you are.
What if?
But gods, they respawn. They're like, okay, we've meditated with Nier's broken spirit at the beginning of all things. Okay, now we're back.
Well, I have a cool thing planned, and I'm not going to spoil it here for my character. So I think this is going to work.
Okay. So just explain to me again the mortal thing. What is the big difference there?
So the difference is that mortals are repurposed, like they are reincarnated, but in the past. So like they are given their soul is being respawned, but in the past somehow through the portal, and they go back through life just again and again and again.
Endless cycle.
Yep.
Okay, so there is not a lot of point to live in as of yet, in a way, right?
Or maybe it's like dispersed randomly, not necessarily in the past, but the soul is able to kind of go out and see the future, the present.
Because we don't have a god of life or birth, so recycling totally makes sense at this point.
Mm-hmm. For now. But someone's going to go down there and this sucks. No, that's actually a very good point, Wonka Chunk, where it's like, well, maybe they are just literally reincarnating. They're not being repurposed. They're like, I'm back now. I said hi to Nier's corpse. Now I'm back again.
Okay, how is that any difference from the gods then? I think there's the same rule.
It is.
Because we have no life and we have no death. So at this point, we're stuck in this time loop.
Right,
Nobody
but
has
do
to
you
reset
lose?
Nier.
So, Dom, you have the idea that you retain all your memories.
Yep.
And that happens with mortals as well.
Yeah.
Ooh,
because they were born from Nier, they returned to Nier.
The term moral isn't even like
not even. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
They're the known gods, you know.
That's right.
Okay.
That's true. All right, someone's got to play death next game.
Yeah, it's not that. Yeah, it's gonna be too
We
hard.
got to
to understand.
establish shit.
Please.
Well, we're gonna need both a death and life. Somebody has to step in. To
Yeah.
establish
So
that.
this is something that I don't know. I don't want to be like, this sounds like Elden Ring, but this is a little bit like Elden Ring. The root of death is blown up. Oh, Glorantha too. Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds
There
like
was no death before Humok found the sword. Then he killed Grandfather Mortal and created mortals.
Yep. Okay. Perfect.
I think we have everything that we need for now. Again, I just ask you guys, in your free time, I'm gonna have the timestamps. Rewatch the prologue and try to make an account. Try to make an account of just your character, like chronologically, like the main bits, and then you all send me, and then I'll try to adjust that chronologically as it happened, as bullet points. It'll be a bit of work, but it's very important because when people join, that is the document they're gonna get, just so they kind of know what's going on, as well as the meta rules we have for like the worthy foe thing and.
Can we describe the souls as like water? Like when somebody like falls over, like maybe like a circulatory system in their shape, like rises and it walks towards the water, because it was kind of emphasized that like Nier manifested himself in the past through the waters of Kamu. Kind of using that.
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
So all of the men doing that. I don't know how the other men or the other guys die. The primordial. Yeah.
It shouldn't matter. It should be the same. Reincarnation is reincarnation.
Sounds good. Or maybe they go back to the cave or go back to the tree.
Yeah.
Something happens.
Fall as seeds back to the earth and emerge.
There you go.
All right. I'm getting pretty sleepy. It's been a lot of fun.
Yep.
Same. I have to say thank you so much for engaging in this. Like, this is already awesome. I can already see up ahead, the crazy shenanigans as stuff happens.
Yeah.
It'll be a cool setting.
Does it meet your vision and your project? I mean, we were doing our thing, but does it meet what something?
My vision is the house that is my vision. The bricks of this house are your visions, So I want it to be a multiplayer project. I want at the end of this, however many sessions we play, you can look back and say, like, look, like these 12 people, we all made this together, and it was organic, and it was through roleplay.
Two session zeros and a half session aren't that bad for 3 hours.
Yeah.
We did a great job.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right, guys, I'm gonna call it myself. I'm gonna
break. Yeah, no, this is it. I'm gonna end the stream. Thank you. Anything you wanna say live?
I had a blast. I always want to say that.
Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure.
I'm very happy to have you then. All right. Thank you, Read and Lies. You've stuck with us to the end. Uriah dropped in as well. And I think that the people who commented are you two. I know there's more. We got like around 6 or 7 people watching. So thank you guys for watching. Even if you don't comment, drop a comment later if you have anything to say. We'll take into consideration if you had a good idea. But that's it. Have a good night and a blessed Sunday.
Yep.
All right. In the stream.